Kamala Harris picking the wrong time to go woke after Hurricane Ian wreaked havoc on Florida. The monster storm destroying entire cities, causing tens of billions of dollars in damage. Dozens are dead and more than 500,000 Americans are still without power. But somehow the VP is using this tragedy to push her radical ideology.
It is our lowest income communities and our communities of color that are most impacted by these extreme conditions. We have to address this in a way that is about giving resources based on equity, understanding that we fight for equality, but we also need to fight for equity, understanding not everyone starts out at the same place.
Spokesperson for Florida Governor Ron DeSantis accusing Harris of causing, quote, undue panic and demanding she clarify her remarks. Even Elon Musk is slamming the VP, tweeting that resources, quote, should be according to greatest need, not race or anything else. But Kamala later ignoring reporters when given the chance to explain. Watch.
Vice President, can you clarify what you meant about equity for hurricane relief?
And like always, the White House is trying to clean up her mess.
We are committed to quickly getting resources to all communities impacted, period, full stop. But we also know that some people, particularly in lower income communities, have a hard time accessing that help. That's why this administration has also made a priority to remove barriers and ensure that everyone, regardless of their zip code, can access federal resources. And that's what she was talking about.
So, Greg, is the vice president saying that white Floridians should get their hurricane relief last?
Yes. But by the way, if we do go by this logic, then we should be shifting all this aid from Ukraine to Iran, right? One is a community of color and one isn't. So there's a little hypocrisy. There's an old joke, you know, earthquake strikes, women and minorities hit hardest.
Right.
That was the joke, but now the joke is the reality. It's in every single situation. That's what you do to, what you go to. There is a difference between equality and equity, and there's been a sleight of hand where the left has replaced equality with equity. Equality seeks to get a leg up for everybody. Equity is about everybody getting a leg down. It's forced equality from above, rather than creating an on-ramp to get on the ladder of opportunity or success. Punish everybody, put everybody down a rung, and that's what you're seeing here. It's like, you know what? Rather than help these people, everybody's going to be treated crappy. And what's amazing, this is an area, the American response to disaster is always really impressive because there's no team sport politics, there's no race card, there's no gender debate. It's just everybody pitching in. They don't ask you who you voted for, where they pick you up in their pickup truck. Kamala proves once again that you can inject politics and wokeism and us versus them ideology into everything. And once you do it, it kills it. It's like a poison. And this is one of the most powerful aspects of America is the melting pot, right? Other countries don't have this. And it usually attracts the most interesting people because we self-select for risk takers. That's why that's the real trait of the melting pot. And the only thing that can beat the melting pot is wokeism. By saying, no, you're different, and that means you can't have the same conversation. And every time you try to reach out and be the same, that's actually appropriation. Mm-hmm. So instead of the melting pot, it's splitting everybody into tribes. And in the long run, it will destroy this country because it's one of the greatest powers we have.
And the president's going to be in Florida, Sandra, on Wednesday. He might get asked about this. I'm sure he's not going to be too happy with his vice president.
Or he won't say anything at all because covering this all day, I can tell you the vice president herself still has not put out any statement, tried to walk back or clarify those remarks. That's pretty amazing considering what we're still seeing down there as far as damage, the massive number of people affected. You have to ask yourself why. She knew what she said was divisive. Why in that moment did she decide to be that divisive? And you go back to the press secretary's words on that gaggle that was on Air Force One today. Full stop. Period, she said. She should have ended it there because she went on actually to defend the vice president's words, saying what she meant to say, what she was talking about was helping people in lower income communities, those that have a harder time accessing help, ensuring everyone has access. That's not what she said. She precisely said the administration would focus on communities of color and resources would be based on equity. And that's really important to keep focusing exactly on her words. I'll finish with this, though. Bill Maher was amazing reacting to this. I mean, the left is reacting to this, calling her out on this. He's saying that she is going to likely be a political liability, pointing out she is not popular And quite frankly, he said she's just a bad politician.
Why don't we
this was
listen
a bad moment.
to Bill Maher in his own words, and then you could react, Jessica. Go.
It's very hard to take the nomination away from the president,
Yeah, that's not gonna happen,
sitting
yeah.
president. And what I could see is replacing the vice president, because she's just not very popular
Hasn't panned
anywhere,
out.
and it didn't seem to work out. And I don't know. That's been done before on a ticket. I just think she's a bad politician, and I think she's a very bright person.
So the liberal audience is applauding the idea of replacing the first female black vice president.
There is a difference between a Bill Maher liberal and a traditional liberal, by the way. He is doing something a little bit different than kind of mainstream liberal politics, but it's no secret that she isn't popular. She had to drop out of the primary before even one vote was cast. And I thought that Van Jones made a really important point in that panel discussion, along with Caitlin Flanagan from The Atlantic. He was talking about identity politics and how Democrats are the only ones who get smeared for playing identity politics. But what was choosing Mike Pence, for instance, right? Donald Trump, he said, not a particularly saintly fellow, right? He went out and he found a strong evangelical partner who could stand by him even through the grabber by the you-know-what tape. And that politicians connect with different groups for a lot of times immutable characteristics in their experiences. And it's not only Democrats that do that. I want to say something about the comments about the disaster aid relief. So Priyanka Chopra Jonas asked a two-parted question. The first part, Chopra is not her.
Yes.
It
That's
is.
her maiden name.
Yeah.
I'm just glad you remembered she was married to Jonas.
Yeah.
I think that's very important.
Well,
One of the
it
Jonas
is her,
brothers?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's married currently to one of them?
Yes.
Don't you read
They have a baby.
TMZ?
And she put a hyphen?
We own
No.
TMZ, Jesse.
She didn't put a hyphen.
This is not what this is about. She asked a two-parted question. So one piece was about the disaster aid relief, and the second part was about the impact of global emissions. And which
she's
Kamala
guilty
Harris
of.
What?
Which she's guilty of.
Right. Okay. What Kamala Harris was talking about with the communities of color and the disadvantaged was actually about the impact on countries, like she was talking about Caribbean countries, for instance, that get the worst of it with emissions versus other countries that are actually chief polluters and everyone is laughing at me. This is really what was going on. She wasn't
No
talking.
one's laughing.
Well, Sandra was giving me a little
Oh,
smile
she
eye
giving you a
here.
smile?
It was a much more nuanced argument than I think that you're making it out to be. And the FEMA director actually backed up Kamala Harris
And why
on
doesn't
this
she
point.
come out and say something?
I don't
to that
know.
effect?
I don't know because I
So,
went back and watched the whole clip.
Katie, apparently this just went over everyone's head. It's much more nuanced and complicated for us Cretans to understand it.
Well, when you engage in the woke bureaucracy in the middle of a crisis, which is picking apart the melting pot by deciding and thinking about, well, these people are here and are they more oppressed than this group? And we have to decide who is more deserving of the grievance awards instead of just saying there's a hurricane, people in every community that is affected needs to get the help they need right now. That takes up time and resources. The argument she's making, if you take out the wokeness, is that people do need resources and help. So the president was in Puerto Rico today. Interesting place to talk about this issue. He said that he went there before leaving the White House because the people of Puerto Rico have not been taken care of properly. Well, today he committed $160 billion more to Puerto Rico. But he's ignoring, in doing that, he's ignoring all of the corruption that's happened in Puerto Rico. In 2019, someone who was working for who was supposed to rebuild the electric grid in Puerto Rico pleaded guilty to fraud, to wire fraud. You had all of this money kept in false wire fraud cases in Puerto Rico. There were a number of government-run warehouses that were found by local journalists that were stocked full of baby formula, supplies, sheets, food, water. And a lot of the money that we gave to them after Hurricane Maria wasn't spent or it was stolen by corrupt officials in Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
So if you're really concerned about getting people the help that they need, you should focus on corruption in places like Puerto Rico and get out of this woke Olympics when it comes to solving a problem.
Right. Well, you're allowed to steal the money that we give them, but if you hand out aid like this, like you're shooting a basketball into a
Well,
crowd,
that's just the end of the world.
that's trouble.
That's not allowed.
It was incredibly demeaning, and you know it.
Demeaning. Everyone loved it.
It's not
You see
corrupt,
the crowd?
though.
Loved
I'll
it.
take
The
something
crowd
demeaning over
loved it.
corruption.
They loved it.
If it saves me, what, $100 million, $100 billion.
There was no
I'll take
corruption in Puerto Rico when Donald Trump was president.
Well, it's gotten a lot worse under the Democrats because they always go, oh, no, that's different.
We just
Puerto
want the
Rico's
votes,
different.
right?
No, because they're oppressed.
Well, there's
we get it.
A former, yeah.
Yeah, you said you wanted them to be the 51st state. We're just taking you at your word. Sorry,
They
we won't do
didn't-
that again. Up next, a radical liberal says Americans terrified about crime don't know what they're talking about.
Yes.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Kilmeade. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to click to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page. This is the only way that I know for sure that you're not going to miss any great commentary, any great news bites, any great interviews coming your way on Fox. You can get it all here on YouTube. So subscribe right now.